Live is presented by Arby's. Try Arby's King's Hawaiian Roast Beef Sandwich back for a limited time at Arby's. Welcome inside Joe Louis Arena. The Red Wings and the Panthers on a Saturday night here on at Joe Louis Arena. I'm John Keating with the former NHL and longtime Red Wings goalie Chris Osgood off a vital 3-1 win last night in New Jersey. The Wings return home to face a Panthers team that, let's be honest, is scuffling a little bit. And so this is an important game for the Wings. And there's a bit of a subplot at play tonight because as soon as the Wings schedule was released, you know that Stephen Weiss went right to it and checked to see when his new team would play his old team. And that night is here tonight.
Yeah, he most certainly did. He was around the Florida Panther guys this morning. Now, he's on the top line against the Philadelphia Flyers. Didn't do much with that. Last game, he was on the second line against the New Jersey Devils. We're 30 games in now. He needs to pick up his game, be the Stephen Weiss that he was when he was with the Florida Panthers for the Detroit Red Wings. He has 2 goals, 2 assists on the season. He's a -3. He's a much better player than it indicates. He's had plenty of time now to adjust to the new system. Now he has to go on the ice and do it.
Yeah, he's a regular 20-goal scorer, or had been for the Florida Panthers, against whom he will play tonight. He's standing by right now with Darren Elliott on the ice. Darren?
Thanks, guys. Here with Stephen Weiss. Stephen, you were the face of the franchise for over a decade. You faced them tonight. What added emotion do you bring to this game?
Well, I don't know. We'll see once the puck's dropped. I'm just excited to get it underway. I've been thinking about it for a few days now, so it'll be nice once the puck's dropped.
Your teammate Daniel Alfredsson just went through the same thing. Did you see him do anything in preparation that you might bring to and apply to this one?
I don't think so. I think he kept to himself quite a bit and didn't show too much. I think we're similar in that way, but like I said, once the puck's dropped, this is when you feel most comfortable.
Big win last night on the road. Where's the team's game right now? Where's your game right now coming into this one?
Oh, we didn't have a great effort at home the other night against Philly, and we wanted to bounce back, have a good road game, and we did that in Jersey. Played real well defensively, and we just got to keep it going. We're missing 2 big pieces out of our lineup, and we need guys to step up, including myself.
Well, step up tonight. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
That's Stephen Weiss, guys, the all-time leader in games played and assists for the Florida Panthers.
All right, Darren, thanks. Back to you shortly. Stephen Weiss, a guy who made the playoffs exactly 1 time in all of his time in Florida, and the reason he came to Detroit was perhaps to win a Stanley Cup here. But there is work to be done. It's a Ron Burgundy of a stretch for the Red Wings here at home. You just can't escape it. I mean, it's everywhere. Oh, you could turn the TV off, but we highly discourage that. 5, 5, and 6 sounds like how some people might rate the Dixie Chicks. Not the Red Wings record here at home.
We don't feel good about it. We always want to play good in front of your own fans, and I think that's what makes it even harder to actually play good, because you want it so bad. When you go on the road, you kind of, no one is expecting anything. You can play a little more patient game, and we just got to try to learn to play that at home as well, and we should be fine.
Of course, the secret for success for the Red Wings is hanging on to leads that are established here at home, and that's been sort of a dangerous trend. They just kind of get frittered away.
Well, Frenzen was right. He was saying be patient and play smart at home. They have done that for the most part. For the first 2 periods, for the most part at home, they've been very good. Then they go into the third. They don't take the play of their team for the first 5 minutes. They find themselves in penalty trouble like they did against Philadelphia, turning pucks over and sitting back too much. They have a lead tonight against the Florida Panthers going into the 3rd period. They have to take initiative, go after the Florida Panthers, play in their zone, make them take penalties. In this game, you have to learn from your mistakes, and hopefully they've learned from their mistakes as a team and come out tonight in the 3rd period the way they do the first 2 periods.
Obviously, the Wings roster is a bunch of moving parts right now with injuries and guys coming in and out. How much of a condition of that is their tendency to sort of not have the success that they want late in games here at Joe Louis Arena?
I don't think it has anything to do with that, really. They're missing some guys all this season so far, but that's going to continue to happen for the remainder of the season. They have guys in and out of the lineup all the time. They just need to play as a team. Each and every one of those guys knows what's expected of them in the course of the game. In the 3rd period, play smart hockey, get pucks deep, take the initiative, go after the opposition instead of turn pucks over and be in your zone and take penalties. take the initiative and play smart hockey in the third period.
Yeah, on the road they've been doing fine. Just a matter of taking the road games home with them. You know all about who's not playing, and we'll let that sort of grimace set in for you. But here's the thing with the NHL, the games still come, regardless of which bodies you have in uniform. And ice time is suddenly plentiful for two of the kids, known as Gus and Tats. They get our focus next. It hasn't been dull being Tim Thomas. He grew up in Davison, played college hockey in Vermont, and then had to scramble through the minor leagues in Europe to get an NHL chance. He ran with a chance, winning Vezina trophies and a Stanley Cup with the Bruins, and then famously turning down the chance to visit the White House as the Cup team was honored. Interestingly, he's in the mix to be a goalie for Team USA in the Olympics. Thomas took a year off and returned this season. He's home in his native Michigan tonight with a visiting Panthers. It's almost automatic that when a team plays on back-to-back nights, one goalie will play one night and the other goalie will play the next night. But after the Wings' victory last night in New Jersey, Mike Babcock said he wanted to think about it on the plane trip home. It turned out to be a monster decision, as Jonas Gustafsson will continue to get a chance in goal for the Red Wings. He'll start against the Panthers here tonight.
He's 8-0-1. I mean, that's just reality. So he's earned what he's got, and so now he's getting a little more because he's given us a chance. And goaltending, no different than the quarterback in football, is the most important position. And when a goalie's playing well and he's in the zone and feeling good, he finds a way to get hit. And that's what's happening to him. And obviously we need the points, and so we're riding that.
All right, Chris Osgood, former teammate of Jimmy Howard. Does this move surprise you coming back-to-back with the Monster?
No, not really. Jimmy Howard played great in Long Island. Went against Philly. By no means was it his fault in the third period. Those were all goals that were more or less unstoppable. But Gustin has played so well this season for the Red Wings at 8-0-1, like Coach Babcock said. But let's not for 1 second don't think that Gustin may be the #1 goalie. Howard's the #1 goalie. Gustin is the #2. But he's getting the opportunity to play a little more now because of how well he's played. And this is not only good for the Red Wings, but it's good for Jimmy Howard. It gives him a break mentally and physically, and it's going to get him back to where he is. He needs to be ready, Jimmy Howard, for the playoffs, and ready earlier than that even. But at the end of the day, Jimmy Howard is the #1 goalie. He's a top 5 goalie in the National Hockey League, in my opinion. And Gustin is one of the best backups in the league right now. So they have a great combination going for them.
Quickly put in perspective, how different Gus's style is than your style was?
Gus's style?
Yeah.
Well, when he first came over, Gus was a reflex, quick goalie that dove around and made a lot of saves like I did in the early 90s. And then he went to a blocking style like I tried to do in the 2000s. And then he went back now to a style that he had before. Very athletic. He has very long legs. His legs were great in New Jersey when they did get a shot on net. And he's playing very well. But the #1 thing for Gustin right now is he's tracking the puck, and he's very confident. His teammates are also confident, and he's feeling good about himself.
All right, and they need him to be good again tonight if the Wings are to win back-to-back. Henrik Zetterberg was in for treatment of his aching back here at Joe Louis Arena this morning, and he told me he's about the same. And then we looked around and saw all those HBO cameras that are now following the Red Wings, and he says, well, maybe I'm just kind of biding my time. And we kidded about whether he's just sort of stalling with the aching back, and he's going to be fine come January 4th in Dallas. Pavel Datsyuk returns Tuesday. And so the kids right now have the ability to make some noise, and with more on that, downstairs we go, and there is the lovely Trevor Thompson. T.
Well, John, if Zetterberg doesn't want the FaceTime, I'm sure Gustav Nyquist and Thomas Tatar will gladly take the FaceTime. They're certainly producing on the ice. Take this, for example. In the 6 games that Pavel Datsyuk has been out, those two have combined for 12 points. They are producing on the ice, but Mike Babcock, not one to moan and groan about injury, says whenever one guy's out, it's an opportunity for other guys to grab the bull by the horns. That's exactly what these two have done so far. They're maturing on the ice, their confidence is growing, and it's certainly impressed one veteran player and a former teammate.
First of all, they bring a lot of energy, enthusiasm, and that's awesome to see in the locker room. But also very skilled players, very mature for the age, I find at times anyway. And they're very good players that know how to play the game, both ends of the ice, and they bring a lot to this team.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit for them to be the same players like they were down there, and now it looks like they're getting there. And I know what kind of players they are, and they're real good. They're both skilled, and they like to shoot the puck and score goals. So I like how they play.
Nyquist has points in each of his last 2 games, setting up a game winner by Johan Franzen last night. Tatar has points in each of his last 3 games, including 3 goals over the last 2 nights. They'll look to continue to keep that on a roll here tonight, as will the rest of the Wings, John.
Trevor Thompson back to show you how good Pavel Datsyuk is looking lately, a little bit later in Red Wings Live. We're tallying your votes at Election Central. Share them with us for your pick for the McDonald's player of tonight's game. It's a text, Wings, and then a space, and then your player's uniform number to FSDET. The voting presented by the new premium Southwest McWrap. Final results later tonight on Red Wings Live. The game that was supposed to be just for fun, well, it's grown a bit of a worried face. The Winter Festival is now Abe Vigoda. Who do you suppose was at the Joe getting coached up today? One Christopher John Osgood. We'll talk of the game coming up when we come back. Wings and Panthers upcoming, and while you might have another name in your vocabulary for Mother Nature in December in Michigan, at least right now she is being cooperative. They're building hockey rinks right now at Comerica Park and at the Big House in advance of the Winter Festival, and the timing has to be just so. Well, it seems we have arrived at so.
The plan is to flood the rink over the weekend, so it'll be a 24-hour operation flooding the ice. It's a thicker ice surface than an arena ice rink, probably about, I think an arena ice rink's about an inch and a half of water. Out here it'll be about double that. I can speak for the operations team, myself and the Olympia operations team and management and the Tigers. You know, we operate behind the scenes mostly, but we love to see a finished product, and we love to see the place full of crazy fans having a good time.
So as we inch closer to the Winter Festival and the Winter Classic, some of the Red Wings alumni are taking it a little bit more seriously. What was your day like?
I came down a little bit. I was a little bit surprised at the struggles I had in my first practice. A loss to Ken Holland, nothing against Kenny, and a hat trick by Joey Kosher. Obviously nothing against Joey,
with a hat trick,
but he wasn't known for his goal scoring. I put myself on notice, and I called Jimmy Bedard, the goaltending coach for the Red Wings, and just trying to get my feet under me. And there's one thing those players for Toronto aren't going to lose, and they can all still shoot, and they're going to be shooting at me, so I don't want to completely embarrass myself in this game. And obviously, in the end, I do still want to come away with a win. Still a little bit competitive.
Now, one of the things we learned yesterday is that Kirk Maltby apparently is an avid viewer of Red Wings Live, and we were having some fun at Malt's expense yesterday about his particular level of fitness.
He's not happy with you right now, John.
It's me that he's not having a...
No, Maltz is a hard worker. He's part of the grind. He's part of the grind line, which 2 things I'm looking forward to when I'm involved in the Winter Classic is, 1, the lines. The Russian 5, Konstantinov will be down there, and the grind line, seeing those guys together. And my only point being is that Chris Draper, who is in phenomenal shape, Maltz is going to have to keep up with him. He's got to get going, as I do, and as the rest of us do, because we want to get a big win.
Did we make some progress today in your coaching session?
I think you set us back, and I brought us back just a little bit.
Nice. Okay.
But,
all right, blame me. I'll take it.
You're welcome, Maltz.
Yeah. You have to hear the story shared next. It's from the Panthers head coach in town tonight, who once upon a time rode the buses around Michigan while playing in the IHL. Teammates actually wanted to fight on the ice during a game. Peter Horacek shares it when we come back. The Panthers, including Thomas Kopecky, the former Red Wing, coming off a 5-2 win over Winnipeg on Thursday. And while the Wings will play 2 straight versus Florida, Florida's a stop in between. They're at Chicago tomorrow before flying home to host Detroit Tuesday night. The Panthers were here waiting while the Wings played and won last night in New Jersey. Here are the things that are readily apparent about the Panthers head coach, Peter Horacek. He was a longtime assistant to Barry Trotz in Nashville, so he knows the Red Wings well. He sweats a lot. People tease him about that, but that's sort of his personality. He's very intense and very structured, but he's a sweater. And some of you may not know that he has ties to Michigan as a former player and coach with Saginaw and Flint in the International Hockey League. Think Slapshot in the Midwest. And his favorite story from days gone by, well, it's a beauty.
Back in the old days, we were playing Milwaukee Admirals, and he had a defenseman, Mike Brown, who lives here in Detroit, and shot the puck, and it got deflected by one of their players and hit one of our other players, I think, in the head, and went up into the stands, and there was he goes charging at him, and you know, I've never seen that before. When your own player on one team wants to fight your player on your own team, but I mean, it was a pretty funny thing at the time. Not for those two, I'm sure, but the referee didn't know what to call. I said, "What is that call?" And he didn't know. So, you know, it could have been down 10 minutes. I've never seen that call before.
That's what you want to see every once in a while. You want to see teammates go at it on the ice. It looks like Pavel Datsyuk is closer to returning to the ice, and with more on that, Trevor rejoins us from downstairs. T.
That's right indeed, John. Pavel has not played since November 23rd after taking that Jared Cowan elbow to the head that left him concussed, but he got a clean bill of health from the doctors yesterday after passing his concussion test. Now all there is to do is knock off some of that rust and get ready for the rematch against the Panthers on Tuesday in Florida. So over the last couple of days, that's what Pavel's done. He took some ice time with the alumni team, getting ready for the alumni game against the Leafs on New Year's Eve, and then this morning helped Chris Osgood out. I think that by Ozzy's own admission, Pavel is a whole lot sharper than Ozzy at this stage of the game, which is welcome news to the Wings, who will welcome him back Tuesday in Florida. He's got 7 career points against the Panthers. They can certainly use his production once he's good to go on Tuesday. Back to you, Bud.
Well, he thinks if he can beat Ozzy, he's completely ready for current NHL goalies. Trev, thanks. Handling post-game duties after the Wings and the Panthers tonight. Beyond the full body hug that would accompany Detroit's first hat trick of the season tonight, you'd have plans tomorrow. If it happens, bring a copy of the box score to any Arby's and receive a free small order of curly fries. Sometimes you want something too much. It's like a kid at Christmas or a stalker in a Lifetime movie. But the Wings know in their hearts that Florida is a team they should handle it. Knowing it and proving it are often miles apart, however. We'll talk more of that when we come back. Let's take a look around the league, brought to you by Xfinity from Comcast. Will specifically focus upon the Wings' own Atlantic division, which isn't exactly rolling off the tongue just yet. Detroit third right now, 2 points out of first, trailing Montreal and Boston. The Panthers, meanwhile, are 0-6-1 versus teams from the Atlantic, and they're 16 points behind Detroit as play begins tonight. And you are forgiven for not knowing too much about the Panthers, because that might also be true for the Florida Panthers' own fans there in Florida. Heck, in light of all the Red Wings injuries, you could make the same case about the Red Wings roster these days. Winning is hard. I mean, it's calculus hard, but you would expect a team at home should be able to handle a team that is 16 points behind them in their own division.
There's no easy games in today's NHL, and we know that. We got to come out and be ready to really battle for 2 points. So I wouldn't really say that, but we're going to really do our best to get 2 points.
It's a big tilt for us. Our team knows it. Nothing's been easy for this group. We have a lot of players that of prominence that aren't in our lineup, and so it's an opportunity for everyone else to show they can win without them. Don't ever think that isn't a little bit of impetus for your lineup. And these guys here want to win.
All right, Darren Elliott rejoins us from downstairs. What has to be better at home for the Wings here tonight, DE?
Special teams. I mean, it's been a difference maker on the road. Why can't it be a difference maker at home? It can be, especially against the Panthers here tonight.
The Wings are 7th in power play, 10th in penalty kill overall in the NHL, and they're going up against a Florida team which doesn't have nearly those kinds of numbers. In your opinion, what has to be tweaked tonight? What do we have to see a little bit differently?
I don't think much. Same as last night. It's going to be one of those in the mud games, possibly against the Florida Panthers. They got to stay patient, smart, just like they did last night in New Jersey. don't get out of their game plan and just take it to Florida slowly but surely, and in the end, they should get a victory tonight at home.
All right, the Wings don't often see the Florida Panthers. In fact, now that they're in the East, they will see them plenty, and they've had a great degree of success against them in the past. We'll see if that trend continues here at Joe Louis Arena tonight as the Red Wings return home. When we come back, we'll hand things off to Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond. Red Wings hockey straight ahead here on Fox Sports Detroit. Watch.